Everybody, Sparks Comics here, and it's time to break down this week's Final Order Cutoff for the indie comics on Final Order Cutoff within the Previews World Diamond catalog. So we are going to go down the website, like always. If you go to previewsworld.com, navigate to the catalog tab down to Final Orders Due. You can follow along with me as we talk about this. I'm going to talk about ones that I am reading and just highlight a couple within that. I don't think there's too many new comics on Final Order Cutoff this week, but there are definitely some great things that we will want to talk about. So, as always, for those that don't know what Final Order Cutoff is, it is the last day that your retailer, whether it be your local comic shop, your online retailer, whoever it is, can put in their orders for these comics. Some will put their order cutoff a little bit ahead of the actual final date so that they can process all their orders. So for Diamond, that is on a Monday for everything that is not Marvel, not IDW, since those go through Penguin Random House now. If you go over to the Lunar catalog, that's always going to be on Sunday. But for the purposes of this, I'm using Diamond as our talking place because it gives you a little bit more time to look at things. The only things we're really missing over in the Lunar catalog is the DC books. Everything else has really made it to FOC finally within the Diamond catalog that I'm aware of. So glad to see that. A little bit of progress there for the smaller retailers, publishers. So first up, at the top of the website, you'll see the Image Comics section, and I'm reading Department of Truth still. It's on to issue number 20 here. This one from James Tynion and Martin Simmons. It's always been a fantastic story, and it remains a really great story. In this battle we've got going on with the Department of Truth, the Ministry of Lies, the Black Hats, all of that going on. It's coming to a bigger point here. I don't know how long they're really planning to do this series for. It could be a really long ongoing. It's only 5 issues behind Something's Killing the Children right now, so who knows? Maybe it's going to catch up and pass Something's Killing the Children in between arcs for that, but I'm still enjoying it. Moving down, Image 30th Anniversary Anthology. Issue 5 of 12 is on here. I've been really enjoying especially the first story in the book, The Blizzard by Jeff Johns and Andrea Moody. There's been some stuff in here. Who was the other ones? I don't know. Some of them ended. I think some of them were 4 issues stories. Some are 3 issues. Some are all 12 issues. We've got Stupid Fresh Mess in there by Scotty Young, which is a cool little almost slice of life comic. Almost like a newspaper comic style thing going on, which is pretty cool. But yeah, it's really fun little anthology series Image has going on, showcasing some great creators. Looks like Zoe Thorogood is in this one. Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor are in this one. Maria Lovetz, part 2 of 3. Part 1 was just in this last issue that just came out. Just lots of cool creators in here, so definitely something to check out if you are into anthology series. Moving down Image's list, we've got New Masters 6 of 6, the last issue here, wrapping up this story from Shobo and Shof Coker and Harrison Yinfawe. Dramatic conclusion to the story. Everyone wants to get their hands on the eye of RNMLA. I don't know if that's typo or hiding what it is or who knows what. But I've been really enjoying this story. Really cool story from the two of them, and it's wrapping up here. So if you haven't checked it out, that means you're going to have a trade paperback coming soon, so be on the lookout for that. Coming down the list, I'm actually not picking this one up, but it looked interesting. Old Dog, issue number 1 from Declan Shalvey. Jack Lynch was once promising CIA operative on the eve of retirement, looking back at a failed career. He is tasked with one final mission that goes horribly wrong. He wakes years later to a changed world and deeper changes within him. When a shadow group offers Lynch a second chance at life of adventure, he's paired with the last person he could ever imagine. In order to adjust, this old dog will have to learn some new tricks. New spy-fi series from Declan Shalvey. Doing writing and art, and Clayton Cowell's doing the lettering on it, looks like. So that's your style story. Spy and sci-fi together. Check this one out. Another one from Image, Public Domain, issue number 3 from Chip Zdarsky, another creator writing and illustrating the story. Big things happen, featuring the fan favorite new character, Dee Donovan. That's her on the cover. I think I have a thing for powerful women. Has a lot to do with stuff that happened to me as a child. I don't really want to get into it here. I love these descriptions of the story. Chip Zdarsky's just having fun, and I like it. Moving down, we got Radiant Black number 17 on Final Order Cutoff. Of course, this last week, Radiant Black 16 came out. Rogue Sun 6 of 6 for the first story arc. There's going to be more. And then 5 of 5 for Radiant Red. So we're just pumping on through the Radiant Black world. The Dead Lucky coming up next week for New Comic Book Day. So more and more stories from the world coming. I think for me, I may start going to some of them in trade paperback form. I know there was just an announcement of Radiant Pink. So we'll see. It's a lot of stories to keep on top of, and collected versions may be the way to go to really get the most impact story altogether. But number 17 for Radiant Black on Final Order Cutoff. What's the Furthest Place from Here? Issue number 8 from Matthew Rosenberg, Tyler Boss. Just killing it with this story. Absolutely killing it. Origin of the Academy coming to us in this issue. Spend some time with the not-so-friendly little piggies known as Big Business as they make deals, cause chaos, and huff and puff and blow up anyone in their way. But when they stick their little snouts too far out, someone will have to pay. And how does everyone's favorite record store fit into all of this? Looked like last issue we were getting a little bit of an origin overall of the world, what's happening here, and this one tells more about the Academy as we go forward. Obviously, we got to come back to the main storyline of where do the characters go from how that arc ended, but origin time. Let's do it. Let's get into it. Going down to Dark Horse, we have a comic coming from Patton Oswalt, co-writing with Jordan Bloom, with art by Scott Hepburn, Ian Herring, and Nate Picos also on this. I'm assuming probably colors and letters there. But yeah, Patton Oswalt, the nerd of Hollywood, I would say, which is fantastic. He does so many projects that are within the scope of nerddom. And here he is writing a comic called Minor Threats. It's hard out there for a supervillain, not the world conquerors, chaos engines, or arch nemesis, but the little guys. The ones who put on uniforms, knock over jewelry stores, and get tied to poles. Spider-Man, come on, stop tying people to poles. And things are about to get worse. The psychotic Stickman has murdered Kid Dusk, sidekick to Twilight City's premier crime fighter, the Insomniac. The Insomniac's teammates are tearing Twilight apart, turning it into a police state desperate to capture Stickman and stop the Insomniac from crossing that final line in which he may never come back from. Caught in the middle are the small-time C-list villains, finding it impossible to walk down the street without being harassed by these heroes. With a bounty on the Stickman's head, former villain Playtime decides to assemble a ragtag team of villains to take down the Stickman and kill him themselves. So I guess what happens when the minor threats come together and maybe present themselves as a bigger threat. Pretty interesting story idea. I may or may not pick this one up. It's not on my pull list, but I may check out issue 1. or wait for the trade paperback on it and read it then. Pearl, Volume 3, Issue 4 of 6, from Brian Michael Bendis and Michael Gaydos. I'm still behind on this one. This is one of those ones where I'm like, I read the first part, I loved it, I want to keep reading, and I probably should just read by trade, but here I am, still picking it up. Gonna pick up the full arc. If there's a Volume 4, I may go to trade paperback from here. But Pearl Volume 3, Number 4, Dark Horse Comics. This one I threw on here because it's from Dark Horse, but it's a little bit more mainstream. It's Star Wars Hyperspace Stories, issue number 1 of 12. This is an all-ages adventure story coming from Dark Horse. Dark Horse, of course, is taking over the all-ages Star Wars stories that IDW was putting out, like High Republic Adventures. I believe there's going to be a return to High Republic Adventures with Dark Horse 2. So just something to keep an eye out for. Coming down the list, things that I skipped past. Boom Studios, there wasn't any individual issues for me on Final Order Cutoff this time. Skipped over IDW, there wasn't anything for me this time. Dynamite, nothing for me. So we're down to the comics and graphics novels section, where we're going to look at Aftershock Comics here with A Calculated Man, issue number 3 from Paul Tobin and Alberto Albuquerque. I'm really loving this series. This is one of those top series, I think, for me so far this year. In that it's just a very intriguing story. It pulls you into the story. Our man Jack Beans is a very interesting guy, seemingly kind of like he's just doing these things to do them because he feels he has to do them, including murdering a crime family to help keep himself safe. And yeah, also going on like Tinder dates. Super weird combination of things going on in this, but I love it. It's motorcycles, mayhem, and math as Jack Beans find the equation to staying alive and out of prison to be harder to solve than ever, with the entire Keys crime family and the whole of the U.S. Marshal's Office getting close to zeroing out this ex-mob accountant. And if that isn't bad enough, Jack is finding himself a way over his head in another area. Does he have a girlfriend now? Jack Beans, everybody. Crazy guy. Fantastic story. Also, Aftershock on FOC this week. Bunny Mask, The Hollow Inside, issue 4 of 4. Also from Paul Tobin. Art by Andrea Moody. And this will be the conclusion of the second volume here. I don't know if this is the conclusion of everything, but second volume ending with the Hollow on the hunt and the strange creature known as Bunny Mask in her whimsical way. Not all that interested in helping. Tyler is forced into some desperate choices in order to survive. But what can a man do when all the choices are wrong and any of them could cost you your soul? What can he do when B. Foster learns the secret of Bunny Mask and when Bunny Mask forces him into the hardest decision of all? Going down the list, next one I got is Good Boy Volume 2, issue 4 of 4. From Christina Blanche and Garrett Gunn with art by Kit Wallace. Coming from Source Point Press, Flint Abraham and the rest of the Demon Dogs confront Tucker. This issue, everyone dies. Everyone. You know, everyone. So either this is the end of Good Boy, if everyone dies, or end of Volume 2 only. We'll see. I haven't heard anything about a Volume 3 yet, so this could just actually be the end. Also, from Garrett Gunn and Kit Wallace and Source Point Press, we have Little Red Ronin, issue number 2. Loved issue 1 of Little Red Ronin. Fantastic, fun, really good comedy moments in it. Definitely one to be checking out. Going down the list, we got one from Scout Comics, Mr. Easta from Kit Wallace as well. Kit Wallace just everywhere on this list. The gloriously demented mind of Kit Wallace brings the galactic adventures of the third best assassin in the universe to Scout Comics. Incredible, kinetically charged artwork, blasts to the blood, mayhem, and quirky humor directly through your brain like a high-caliber bullet. In this issue, it's Elvis night at an interstellar backwater bar, but with all due respect to the king. That doesn't stop Mr. Easta. With the help of Frank, his teleportation parasite, who can also transform into any handheld weapon imaginable, it's business as usual. The chaos that I just can feel from that description, that's what I wanna read. Fantastic sounding story coming from Scout Comics, and Kit Wallace doing the art and writing on it, bringing us some crazy stuff. Going down the list, next one is from Source Point Press, and that is Nook, issue number 3 of 3, the oversized black and white comic from Caleb Thusett, Marcelo Biot, and Martha Webby doing some really cool covers on this. The history of the house revealed, Avery and her companions must now face the horrors of the present and try to break the endless cycle of violence in the third and final chapter of this limited series. This is it. Nook will be ending. So that's, like I tell all the time, I've forgotten to talk about this time, but the release date for these is usually about 3-4 weeks out, sometimes 5 weeks, depending on the publisher. I'm seeing August 31st or August 24th as the release dates for these. So coming to the end of August, we're going to have a lot of series ending, it looks like. At least ones that I'm reading. Speaking of series ending, from Mad Cave Studios, Nottingham number 10 of 10, from David Azan and Shane Connery, Volk, Luca Romano doing the colors. Sheriff of Nottingham deals with the terrifying consequences of the attempt to rescue King Richard. Marion makes her final move. Either this is the end based on, things that happened in the last issue. Some crazy twists. David, Shane, guys, killing it. And that twist at the end of 9 was both, like, I feel like I should have seen it coming because of, just how the characters are, but still caught me by surprise, and I like that. So 10 of 10 for Nottingham. End of the second incredible volume coming from Mad Cave Studios. Next up on the list, from Behemoth Comics, Until My Knuckles Bleed, One Deadly Shot. So we had 3 issues of Until My Knuckles Bleed. It was phenomenal. I loved it. Victor Santos writing and drawing this, and now we get a one-shot to go with it. Victor Santos, creator of Polar, brings us a new story of crime and capes in the line of the Boys, Watchmen, and Sin City, set in the world of his new hit series Until My Knuckles Bleed, a one deadly shot about war, violence, consequences, and redemption. Gavin Hart, former 90s superhero, is serving sentence for the events of the extremely damaged arc. If he wants some kind of mercy, he should tell something about one of the darkest stories of the most extreme of superhero ages. Story which involves his old team, the CIA, and a buried creature in the heart of Europe. I don't even need to know what this one shot was going to be about. Second I saw that there was a one shot for Until My Knuckles Bleed, I said yes. If you haven't read Until My Knuckles Bleed, you definitely need to go pick it up. I believe the trade paperback's out. If not, it should be coming out very soon. Pre-order it from the Behemoth website or your local shop. Coming down, we got 2 more here on the list and another series ending. We Live, Age of the Pelodians, issue number 5 from the Miranda brothers, Inaki and Roy, as well as Ava de la Cruz on the colors and Dave Sharp on the letters. Curtain falls like rain, like tears, like heroes. Sometimes omens show you the way, but not the consequences. Truth hurts, sometimes it heals, sometimes it consumes you. Dark clouds gather over Megalopolis 9, over the Pelodians, over Hototo. They spread over a promise that was made. Sometimes storms pass, sometimes they don't. End of Volume 2 of We Live. Kind of sounds like an ending, but knowing how last one went, there's gonna be some sort of twist, I bet, in this, and we probably are not done with We Live. But this looks awesome. The cover art looks almost like we got a Radiant Black character on here a little bit, but you know, our Pelodians have some really cool costumes. So that is the end there for We Live, Volume 2 from Aftershock. And this last one that I got on here is coming to us from Legendary Comics. It is in the, I think it's in the books section. And this, I backed on Kickstarter, is the comic from Oscar Isaac, developed by Oscar Isaac and Jason Spire, but written by Brian Buccellato, I can never say his name, with art by Christian Ward, which is honestly the main reason I backed it, was Christian Ward's artwork. Super cool cover here, and it is, I think, a full like hardcover. It's a hardcover graphic novel. I don't remember how many pages were in it, but full story here. I think it's something worth checking out, especially if you love Christian Ward's artwork. But I feel like it's partially written by or developed by Oscar Isaac because he was essentially writing himself a movie role. So we got a lot of that going on, you know, Berserker with Keanu Reeves. There was someone else recently too, but I think that's cool. You know, bring it to the comic world first. Let the comic people get to enjoy it before it goes out there as a movie, as other properties, and I see no problem there. So that is the last one on my list. Lots of things on Final Order Cutoff this week to check out, especially in the indie world, the non-DC Marvel world of things. And some of these things are really making it more mainstream, and I think that's really cool that some stories that are out there for us are becoming more well-known and really getting out there to more people. So that is it. Let me know down in the comments, what are you going to make sure you get by FOC this week? Is there anything that I missed? Let me know down below if there's something you think I should be reading. And as always, collect what you love. See you next time.